So I'm a big fan of diversity and inclusion, and I want to tell you why I'm actually a fan of diversity and inclusion. So when I was growing up, my dad was a Polish immigrant. He escaped, or their family escaped World War II just before the war started. They immigrated to northern Canada in the middle of nowhere, and they homesteaded. And what they did, I don't know if you know what Polish immigrants actually eat. They were not wealthy in any sort of way, whole bunch of kids, and they ate meat and potatoes every day. And so when I was born, that's what I ate every single day. My dad and my family, they ate meat and potatoes every single day. I remember we either had boiled potatoes or cabbage, and that was the option, and some sort of fried meat. And we ate that every day. And then at an evening, if there was leftover boiled potatoes for lunch, we would have fried potatoes every single day. Maybe we'd have some onions that were in there. And that was my meal. That was my entire, what I ate every single day until I moved away and I went to university. And when I went to university, I went to one of the most multicultural parts of all of Canada and one of the most multicultural universities that I went to. And it was really awkward. It was really different. And, there was lots of moments that were kind of uncomfortable, and I made a bunch of snafus, a lot, that it was like, oh, now I look back and I think, what was I thinking? But what was really exciting and interesting is that I got to try all sorts of different kinds of foods that I would never have tried before, because there was people from different cultures, from different ways of growing up that I never was exposed to. Almost anything. You don't understand what it was like to grow up with just meat and potatoes. We never had rice. Never had rice. We never had pasta. We didn't have anything other than meat and potatoes every single day. We had stews, but that was about it. Maybe some rice pudding. That was it. That was the flares that we had, and the kind of breads that we had. My mom made bread. That's how we grew up. She would make a whole bunch of bread once a week, and it was always white bread. So I want you to sort of imagine what it was like for me to go through and experiencing all of these different flavors and tastes that I just was never exposed to. And it was just the most interesting thing I've ever experienced. And there was just so much overwhelming things that I went through. Now, mind you, my experiences were not, incredibly as diverse as some, but I still was exposed to many different things. And to this day, I've not ate meat and potatoes, boiled potatoes, and fried meat as a meal since I left home. And the reason why is because I realized that there's so many different flavors that are around the world with all sorts of different stories. And a lot of the flavors I really love, a lot of them I really don't like. I was like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of chicken's feet. I've tried that, not going to be my thing. But what I've been able to try is all sorts of different things that I do love. Curries and, Thai food, and just all sorts of really wonderful things I've never experienced. And they're part of my life. And they make my life so much more interesting. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily better off. I wouldn't say that I am, a better person for, loving the sort of diverse food that I've tried, but I got to sample and explore all sorts of different things that I just would not have been part of. And what's interesting is when you see these foods and you try these foods, you realize that there's stories behind them. And sometimes I'm curious about those stories, and I explore those stories to find out what the foods, how they actually got to where they are. And sometimes those stories are really interesting and really fun and exciting, and sometimes those stories are not great, and I feel uncomfortable, and I feel like, man, that shouldn't have happened. Um, and I think knowing all of those stories, though, have made me a richer person. It made me a person that is more empathetic, more able to explore the world, more likely to try different things that I would never have been able to do before. So I think where I want to get at here is, to this day, I will not eat boiled potatoes. And the reason I will not eat boiled potatoes is because I had that every day of my life growing up. And I know my mom watches this channel, so I'm proud to say that I do not eat boiled potatoes. And I do appreciate everything that you did, but I just want to try different things and explore different things and be immersed in all sorts of different stories and seeing wonderful things that I would never have seen before. Yes, it's uncomfortable, often very uncomfortable, but I get to explore and try different things and possibly be part of different cultures that I just didn't know existed until I left and explored beyond meat and potatoes and boiled cabbage. So I think that's why I love diversity and inclusion, is because I get to explore and try things and be part of something that I didn't realize it actually existed. And to me, that's really fun. To me, that's exciting. To me, that is just seems like I become much more able to adapt in this world, and I can explore different things and see different things beyond the meat and potatoes. So I just want everybody to know that diversity and inclusion is a pretty cool thing, and we should embrace that as much as possible, not for all of the moral reasons and all of the kind of stories that we hear all the time, but simply because, man, you don't want to grow up with just having fried meat and boiled potatoes every day. It's not so exciting. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.